Next, we need to talk about how Egyptian society was divided. Just like in ancient Mesopotamia, there were distinct social classes. At the very top was the pharaoh. The pharaoh was a king or queen whom the people believed to be a living god. Below the pharaoh were the priests. The priests were those who maintained and practiced religious ceremonies. Below them were the scribes. They were bureaucrats who were trained to write everything down. Below them were the peasants, poor farmers who worked the land. Ancient Egypt also had slaves that were captured in war. The government of Egypt was controlled by the pharaoh. Because he was considered a god, his word was law. As a result, there was no need to write down any laws, as the pharaoh was the law.
This morning, we saw a lot of water buffalo. Dad says they are a symbol of King Narmer, the first pharaoh of Egypt. A long, long, long time ago, about 3,000 years before my time, the Nile Valley just had a bunch of little farming villages. Eventually, the villages formed two kingdoms, Upper and Lower Egypt. Wait, let me explain something first. Remember how the Nile River flows from south to north into the sea? That means upstream is south, at the bottom of the map, and downstream is north, at the top. Which means Upper Egypt is south, near Thebes, and Lower Egypt is north, near the sea. Okay, well, where was I? Right, King Narmer. When King Narmer came along, he unified all of Upper and Lower Egypt. He was a powerful ruler who got people working together. He set up a system for irrigating our fields, and he established a code of laws for everyone. He was our first pharaoh, a god here on earth, sent to rule the Egyptian people. What a job Narmer had. I wonder what he would say if he could see his country today. I bet he would be proud. Dad says that tomorrow we're going to see something really old and really amazing. I can hardly wait. And whatever it is, I promise to write all about it the first chance I get.
The economy of Egypt was based on trade. The Egyptians traded on the Nile and throughout the Mediterranean Sea. They would trade gold and slaves from their conquests along with their surplus agricultural goods. The Egyptian religion was, just like in Mesopotamia, polytheistic. They worshipped many gods with each one given a role. Ra was the god of the sun. According to the Egyptians, he would cross the sky in a boat every day. The Egyptian afterlife was in the west. Egyptians built pyramids and tombs that were designed to aid the pharaohs in their journey to the afterlife. Their bodies were preserved as mummies. The idea was to reunite their lost soul with the body in the afterlife. The most important story in Egyptian mythology is the tale of Osiris. It explains why Osiris is king of the underworld and why Horus has the right to rule. It also explains why Set is the bad god in Egyptian mythology. I'd like to thank David C. Scott for this version of the story as found on www.touregypt.com. So here is the tale of Osiris. O my brothers and my sisters, gather around me that I may tell the tale of the before time, of the golden age when the gods walked upon the earth with us. Know then that in those ancient days, long before even the grandfather of our Pharaoh's grandfather was born, Osiris, the great-grandson of Ra, sat upon the throne of the gods, ruling over the living world as Ra did over the gods. He was the first pharaoh, and his queen, Isis, was the first queen. They ruled for many ages together, for the world was still young, and Grandmother Death was not as harsh as she is now. His ways were just and upright. He made sure that Maat remained in balance, that the law was kept. And so Maat smiled upon the world. All peoples praised Osiris and Isis, and peace reigned over all, for this was the golden age. Yet there was trouble. Proud Set, noble Set, the brother of Osiris, he who defended the sun boat from Apep the destroyer, wasn't settled in his heart. He coveted the throne of Osiris. He coveted Isis. He coveted the power over the living world, and he desired to take it from his brother. In his dark mind he conceived of a plot to kill Osiris and take all from him. He built a box and inscribed it with wicked magic that would chain anyone who entered it from escaping. Set took the box to the great feast of the gods. He waited until Osiris had made himself drunk on much beer, then challenged Osiris to a contest of strength. Each one in turn would enter the box and attempt, through sheer strength, to break it open. Osiris, sure in his power yet feeble in mind because of his drink, entered the box. Set quickly poured molten lead into the box. Osiris tried to escape, but the wicked magic held him bound and he died. Set then picked up the box and hurled it into the Nile, where it floated away. Set claimed the throne of Osiris for himself and demanded that Isis be his queen. None of the other gods dared to stand against him, for he had killed Osiris and could easily do the same to them. Great Ra turned his head aside and mourned. He did not stand against Set. This was the dark time. Set was everything his brother was not. He was cruel and unkind, caring not for the balance of Maat or for us, the children of the gods. War divided Egypt, and all was lawless while Set ruled. In vain our people cried to Ra, but his heart was hardened by grief, and he would not listen. Only Isis, blessed Isis, remembered us. Only she was unafraid of Set. She searched all of the Nile for the box containing her beloved husband. Finally she found it, lodged in a tamarisk bush that had turned into a mighty tree, for the power of Osiris still was in him, though he lay dead. She tore open the box and wept over the lifeless body of Osiris. She carried the box back to Egypt and placed it in the house of the gods. She changed herself into a bird and flew about his body, singing a song of mourning. Then she perched upon him and cast a spell. The spirit of dead Osiris entered her, and she did conceive and bear a son whose destiny it would be to avenge his father. She called the child Horus, and hid him on an island far away from the gaze of his uncle Set. She then went to Thoth, wise Thoth, who knows all secrets, and implored his help. She asked him for magic that could bring Osiris back to life. Thoth, Lord of Knowledge, who brought himself into being by speaking his name, searched through his magic. He knew that Osiris' spirit had departed his body and was lost. To restore Osiris, Thoth had to remake him so that his spirit would recognize him and rejoin. Thoth and Isis together created the ritual of life, that which allows us to live forever when we die. But before Thoth could work the magic, cruel Set discovered them. He stole the body of Osiris and tore it into many pieces, scattering them throughout Egypt. He was sure that Osiris would never be reborn. Yet Isis would not despair. She implored the help of her sister Nephthys, kind Nephthys, to guide her and help her find the pieces of Osiris. Long did they search, bringing each piece to Thoth that he might work magic upon it. When all the pieces were together, Thoth went to Anubis, lord of the dead. Anubis sewed the pieces back together, washed the entrails of Osiris, embalmed